When we take a look at area of triangles, and I know you remember that the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height, we do need to go back to what we talked about with polygons and what the word polygon gives us. So a triangle is a three-sided polygon. That means it's convex, it's closed, and it has straight edges. Remember, polygon gives us special characteristics. The base is just one side of the triangle, and it can be any side. And so you just label the base, and then we go from there. The height is the perpendicular distance from that base to the opposite vertex. So for this guy, if we called this the base, we extend it out with dotted lines, and then we can take the height as this perpendicular distance from the base up to the opposite vertex. Notice here it's that height is outside the triangle. When we go to the next one, if we take the base as this long side, the height perpendicular distance to that opposite vertex here. Remember, vertex is the points of the triangle. Now, you don't always have to take the side that's down. Instead, if you call this the base up here, then we still take perpendicular distance to the opposite vertex to get the height. And so we want to make sure that when you're working with children, the orientation of the triangles is going to change, because we don't want them to think that it's always just down here is the base or the bottom. And so we put triangles in all different orientations on the page. Your next task is to go ahead and do activity 12F, which is on page 7. Before you do that, go back to pages 21 and 23 and cut out the triangles on those pages. You're going to find that it's much more helpful to have them cut out and working with them individually. Then also, you're going to be using the moving and additivity principles, where you can double it and take half, you can move and reattach, all to try to get to why this formula works regardless of what triangle you use. And so focus on this idea of 1/2 a base times a height, and you're trying to show with those triangles that you can get to a rectangle, and a rectangle is base times height, but instead of base and height, we're using this from the original triangle. And so think of a rectangle and having the area of the rectangle be length and width, right? So we can multiply these together. But these lengths are going to come from your original triangle by doubling, moving, and reattaching. So go ahead and cut out the triangles on page 21 and 23. Then go to page 7 and work through this activity.